When I met the foreign minister, I said, thank you for all your help. You have been not
Let's bow our heads. Dear Father, thank you for every seat that has been filled here today, for each mind and heart that feels the presence of goodness and compassion in their hearts. Bless the goals, the aims, and goodness of each intention in promoting what is good and what is best. Provide us the wisdom, a peaceful heart, and strong spirit to follow your will. Bless us all, and may we have all peace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Para naman po sa ating Muslim prayer, inaanyayahan ko po si Mr. Tumaya M. Ayo.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Let us all pray in the name of God, Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Praise be to God, Allah, Lord of the worlds, the most gracious, the most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. It is you we worship, and upon you we call for help. Guide us to the right path, the path of those you have placed, not of those whom there is anger, nor of those who are misguided. As we start this morning's meeting, an exchange of ideas with the Honorable Secretary of Foreign Affairs, the members of his delegation, the Philippine Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, and his officer and staff, and the leaders and members of the Filipino Community in Riyadh. Please, bless this occasion with peace, harmony, and orderly, and make our discussions smoother with further reigns of understanding among ourselves. Amen. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين.
African Affairs, si S.P. Baha. Nandito rin po ang ating punong sugo, ang mahal nating Ambassador, si Ambasador Adnan B. Alonto. Bago po ang lahat, nais po namin magpasalamat sa lahat po ng ating mga kababayan at kanilang mga organisasyon sa inyong pagpunta ngayong araw ng Biyernes. Pagkamat oras po ninyo itong pahinga ito, kami natutuwa at pinili niyo pong makapiling po kami at ang aming bisita ngayong araw na ito. Kaya inyo pong banggitin ko po ang ilan sa mga miyembro ilan sa mga organisasyon na pumunta ko ngayong umaga. Andito po ang Alpha P Omega or APO, nandito po ba kayo? Mga miyembro po ng Anti-Organized Crime and Corruption Intelligence Group, mga panauhin mula sa BDO Unibank Incorporated, Community Anti-Crime Group, Community Investigative Support, mga taga-Elite International School, Federal CCW, Federation of Citizens Crime Watch Special Task Force Incorporated, Filipino Dentists in KSA, Filipino Nurses Society in Saudi Arabia, Filipino Oasis Research Center and Examination Philippines, Filipino Review Organizations for Nurses and Teachers, CASIM Filipino Community, Geodetic Engineers of the Philippines, Institute of Electronic Engineers of the Philippines, KSA Central Region, Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers of the Philippines, Incorporated, Integrated Midwife Association of the Philippines, Saudi Arabia, International Philippine School in Riyadh, iRadio, Kingdom Travelers, Knights of Rizal, KSA Sama Tawi-Tawi Alliance for Federalism, LBC Express, Nesma Company, Palmcrest International School, Philippine Airlines, Philippine Council of Engineers and Architects, Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Philippine Institute of Certified Quantity Surveyors, Philippine Professional Organization Riyadh, Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers, Ranao Sports Committee, Riyadh Ambassadors Chorale, Riyadh Dulay Alumni, Riyadh International School, Samahang Caviteño, Second Philippine International School, Shakpa, Tabang at Malasakit, the Filipino Channel, Trainers Technology International Incorporated, United Architects of the Philippines, Central Region, United Filipino Bowlers Association, Values Formation and Spiritual Transformation Council of the Philippines International Incorporated, Virgin Mobile, Western Union, and WFDC. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Ngayon naman po, aanyayan ko po ang ating mahal na Ambassador, si His Excellency Ambassador Adnan B. Alonto, para sa kanyang pananalita. From the year 2001 to year 2010. He served as the 20th Philippine Permanent Representative to the United Nations, of which the Philippines is a founding member, succeeding a long line of distinguished diplomats such as the Honorable Carlos P. Romulo.
Ambassador and Mrs. Alonto, Philippine Embassy officers and staff, members of the Filipino community, a pleasant good morning to all of you. When we were planning my trip to the Middle East, I specifically instructed to include Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is where we find the biggest concentration of Filipinos in the Middle East. It is an important and strategic partner, a friend for over 50 years. I will digress from the text and say that when I met the foreign minister, I said, thank you for all your help. You have been not only a host to 1 million Filipinos, but when you think of the many decades that you have received us here, perhaps if you multiply that million by the number of years, then maybe it's 20 million, maybe 30. I said, thank you for that. But also, just as important, I want the Philippines to be a strategic partner of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the most important Arab country in the Middle East. I want to make sure that, in the words of the foreign minister, whenever they hear the word the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, automatically they will say, the Philippines is with them. When they say the Philippines, in any controversy around the world, they will say, the Philippines, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is behind them. This is what I've tried to do also in Myanmar. No questions. Every country has its own way of governing because it's very hard to do that, especially in these turbulent times. But I always make sure that for those who try their best to govern their best, they have the Philippines. The Philippines has their back, as I hope they have our back when the troubles come. As such, our embassy here in Riyadh, as well as the Consulate General in Jeddah, are our biggest foreign service posts in the region, and some of the biggest in the world. We have put the best and most able officers and staff under the leadership of Ambassador Alonto and Consul General Edgar Badajoz to help and assist you. This is our mandate from President Duterte, to extend all and the best possible assistance to our nationals abroad. Again, I digress. When I was asked to join the United Nations by Secretary Asay, I said, tanda na ako, no, I kept saying. Then one day, my old partner in the Angara Law Office, Big Bong Vejaldea, the Executive Secretary of President Duterte, said, Periwoy, he will meet you across the river. Because in Malacanang, nandito, di ba, may Pasig River, this is the Presidential Security Compound. When the President calls, you go. I remember that. I remember that from my father, who did not like Marcos. But when Marcos called, he went. I would ask him, why will you do that? You don't like him. He is the President of the Republic. It is my country calling us. So he would go. And so it is. And when I got there, he told me, in fact, he did not even appoint me in words. He just simply said, he pointed at me this way. Don't defend me. I don't need to be defended. And I can defend myself. Then he started talking about the drug problem. And then suddenly he put up his hand again this way. Don't defend me. I can defend myself. Sabi ni Bing Bong sa akin, boy, this looks like it's going to be the whole night. So the next time he sat down again, because while we were talking, he would go out to negotiate some of the most difficult situations, including a hostage crisis. Then he would come back and sit down. And the next time he went, don't defend me. I got his hand. I said, thank you very much, Mr. President. Then I bowed. He said, kapun pala yun, ah. So, and then I left. 2 weeks later, my appointment as a UN ambassador came through. So that's what the meeting was about. When I was in the United Nations, I served there, I thought, to protect our interests, to explain our policies. And one day when I was in a meeting headed by Australia on the auditing of the United Nations, I could feel the phone ringing in my pocket. So I stood up, and the Australian ambassador looked at me like she knew what was going to happen. And I stepped out of the room, I said, hello, and he said, the position of Secretary of Foreign Affairs is vacant. Do you want to accept it? I answered, and he said, thank you very much. That was it. That's his style. And he knows what he's doing. When I got back in the room, the Australian ambassador looked at me and said, you accepted the job. How do you know that? He said, we are Australian. We know everything. So this, when he appointed me Secretary of Foreign Affairs, again, that's who he called me to be. When I was sworn into office, after being sworn by him, I said, Mr. President, instructions, do you have any? I put the ball in your hand. Play with it. But then he walked away and he came back and he said, you take care of my people abroad. So yes, and I knew my marching orders. Yesterday, I had the privilege to meet with Foreign Minister His Highness Prince Faisal and thank the Saudi government for all the assistance being given to our countrymen here. I discussed the concerns of Filipinos here, and they promised to look into these concerns. Yesterday, I also led in the groundbreaking ceremony of the multipurpose hall in the embassy, which is envisioned to help improve our services to all of you. We hope that it will be completed soon, and I thank Ambassador Alonto for this initiative. Once again, it is my pleasure to be here with all of you, and I hope you will continue our partnership with the embassy for the betterment of the welfare of all Filipinos in Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po sa ating kalihim. Ngayon naman po ay magsisimula po ang ating question and answer. May format lang po tayo sa ating question and answer. Hindi po tayo tatanggap ng live questions mula sa floor. Pero meron po tayong sistema wherein maaari niyo pong isulat ang inyong mga katanungan. Ibigay po sa aming mga panauhin mula sa embahada at aming pong babasahin po yung tanong dito po sa stage at tatanungin po natin ang ating kalihim or maaari din po yung ibang mga official po ng department kung gusto po nilang sagutin yung tanong. Our first question comes from UAP. It says here, every day we read in the news about fellow OFWs being repatriated back to the Philippines, particularly from the Middle East. They ask, what are the plans or projects of the Philippine government to assist these OFWs whose source of living was greatly affected by these unforeseen circumstances abroad?
Easier for me to talk when I'm standing up. When I took over, I made sure that the repatriation process would go smoothly, and I would not impose any conditions. Anyone who is in trouble abroad, we bring them home, if they want to go home. I said, sometimes I would hear, medyo kasalanan din nila. Walang kasalanan yan. There is a reason they left our country. They can't find a good job there. And that's how I talk in the cabinet. They can't find a good job there. They go abroad. They be among strangers. And then something goes wrong. I'm going to ask? Oh, kasalanan mo yan. No way. You want to go home? You come home. I'll take care of you. And that's how we've been proceeding. But of course, recently, there was a crisis between the United States and Iran. We immediately mobilized the president. I would be in charge of repatriation. Secretary Lorenzana would send military assets to the Middle East, which he did. I met them in Oman, 2 ships. He asked me, do you need money? No, I have a budget. And yes, but this is an emergency. And I will realign my budget to make the repatriation of Filipinos from a possible conflict zone. Take them out and take care of them. But you know, as we were preparing for that, I would be talking to ambassadors from the Middle East, especially the very wise ones from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He says, we understand you want to get your people out of harm's way. But if you do that, you might as well bring us also. Because the Filipinos live among us. They are a great part of our lives. And as we go, so will they go. We will never leave them. So the situation got better and better. And in that crisis, I can tell you, one of these days I'm going to Russia. The Russians, no questions asked. They came to me and he said, we have massive air assets. Should it ever come to that, situation becomes that bad, we have your back. I'm going to go to Moscow to thank them for that. Now, on the rest of the repatriation process, as you can see, we're bringing them home. Everyone who wants to go home, no problem. I know there is the technicality of the exit visa. Then we approach the government and ask them, help us to get this. But if there are any obligations we have to meet them, we will meet them. So on that issue, I hope you agree with me, the Department of Foreign Affairs, our ambassadors in the Middle East, the staffs of all of these embassies have done a magnificent job. So, as I said, I heard the President loud and clear. Take care of my people abroad. Thank you.
Next question, Mr. Secretary, is from KSA Sama Tawa-Tawi Alliance for Federalism. It says here, may we know your thoughts on the idea to stop sending housemaids to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? Will you recommend that idea to the President?
Well, on that issue, I will listen to you. You tell me. Because as I said, if we had jobs in the Philippines, would you leave your country? I don't think so. So, who am I? There are people who, they're well-meaning people in the government when the coronavirus broke out. And the Filipinos who had gone on vacation, domestic workers, they were all in Manila, we put the travel ban. They cannot go home. And their employers in Hong Kong, who are very good to them, said, we need them. Can't they go back? Some of my colleagues said, many of them doctors said, we have a duty to make sure none of them gets hurt there. I said, well, we also have a duty to observe the Constitution. The right to travel is sacred. And they want to go back. And then I said, Mr. President, please let our people who want to go back to their jobs in Hong Kong, please let them go. And he said, okay, very good. 2 weeks, let me think. If the situation stabilizes or it starts to improve, okay. Well, I got my wish. In less than 2 weeks, they're all back with their jobs. But first, I called up the Chinese embassy and then talked to Beijing. I want you to make sure. Promise me that in any situation deteriorates, you will give them the same care, concern, and facilities to care and protect for them as you would your own citizens. Done. And so it's happened. We evacuated people from Wuhan. Or some people were saying, oh, alright, pinadala mo dito ang out there? No, I'm sorry. Sabi ng Pampanga, di ba? Pampanga objected. Because when they come, they have to be quarantined. Muna, gusto nila padala sa Nueva Ecija kasi may rehab facility doon. Donate mga in-check for health facilities. So, malaki talaga. I said, no, they're not gonna go there. They're not gonna go there and then end up inside buildings na walang kama, walang tubig, walang electricity. Mabuti na, meron akong kaibigan sa Clark, si Vince Dison. He said, Tito, I have the athletic village. So, look at that. Yung athletic village, alam po, sa Asian Games, sabi nila, wow, what a waste of money. Two things. One, after we put up those world-class facilities, remember this year, kung wala sana ang coronavirus epidemic, they said, all of those facilities after the Asian Games will be receiving European and American athletes. Why? Hindi naman ako athletic eh. Because when you're gonna compete in Tokyo, you have to be in the same time zone. Kailangan wala kang jet lag. So they are taking it. It's going to pay for itself. And then this emergency happens. The facilities are one room, bathroom, sports facilities, you can swim, etc., and completely contained for safety. And he said, Tito, when the plane lands in Clark, diretso sa Athletes Village. And that's where they are. And you know what? It's probably one of the best quarantine facilities in the world. But again, hindi namin, it wasn't the plan. We're just lucky that this thing happened and we already have the facility. So no, we're doing all we can in that respect. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Secretary, we have several questions. I think it's best to consolidate this into one question pertaining to the consular services of the Embassy and the DFA in general for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. There are several questions pertaining to whether or not we will continue to do mobile consular services in the eastern region in particular, and also in the central and northern provinces of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. If there is also a plan by the department to change the current appointment system, which has been a source of grief for many of our countrymen due to the limitations of the embassy. Is there any other plans to improve the services being offered by the embassy to the Filipinos in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
I will give the details. I would ask Dulay to do it. But on the question of mobile passports, I saw that happen in Manila. And we had mobile passport units sent to Cebu and different cities. I said, that should happen also abroad. And I will find the money. I will bring those facilities here. So you can, you're the biggest population in the Middle East. So that you can, your passport needs can be fully satisfied. Now the other questions are technical. I'd like to ask Brigado Dulay to explain.
Gandang umaga po. Morning, kabayan. Parang hindi pa tayo kumamerienda. Ganito po, maganda po ang oportunidad ko ngayon pakipaliwanag po sa inyo kung ano po ang aming ginagawa at gagawin sa mga susunod na buwan. Alam niyo po, yung pong ating polo office doon sa Eastern na wala na po, di po ba? Alam niyo po, ang problema po kasi sa Saudi, medyo mabigat po ang problema natin dito. Alam niyo po yan, kayo naman po ay mulat dyan. Bago po ako napunta sa Department of Foreign Affairs, 2 taon po ako sa OWA. Ako po ay nagtrabaho bilang Deputy Administrator po ng OWA. At kilala ko po ang Gitnang Silangan, ang Middle East, sapagkat ito po yung aming pinupuntahan. Siguro po naiisip ninyo na napakadaling solusyonan po ng problema. Ano? Kung kulang ang tao, dagdagan. Tama po ba? No? Di ba? Kaya lang po, hindi po pala ganun nung ako po ay sumama sa OWA. Ang problema po namin unang-una ay yung pong numero po ng aming mga kasama sa embahada at konsulada. Sapagkat ito po ay nabibilang lang po siguro ninyo ng ilang daliri ninyo. No? Pwede po tayong sabihin natin, magdagdag po tayo ng 100, sabihin natin. Pero doon po sa batas diplomasya, limitado lang po ang pwedeng mga tao na magtrabaho sa isang embahada at konsulada. Kaya po kahit gusto namin magdagdag po ng tao, hindi po kami makapagdagdag sapagkat may tinatawag po dyan na reciprocity. Ibig sabihin, kung ano ang ibibigay ng bansang Saudi, dapat ang Pilipinas ganun din ang ibibigay sa bansang Saudi Pilipinas. Kaya ano po ang naisip namin na solusyon? Nandiyan po si Ambasador Alonto, napakaganda po ng kanyang programa. Ginagawa po namin yung Embassy on Wheels, di po ba, no? Nagpupunta po sa iba't ibang bangke ng Saudi Arabia. Napakalawak po kasi ng Saudi. Pero ang ginagawa po namin pagbabago ngayon, ay meron po kami, narinig niyo po yun sa Dubai, meron na po sila ang tinatawag na VFS Center doon sa Dubai. Yung pong gagawin po namin sa mga susunod na siguro po itong buwan ng Marso ay maaaring mag-umpisa na po dito sa Eastern Region. Magbubukas po kami ng isang VFS Center doon po sa Eastern Region. Bukas po ito ng 12 oras, 7 araw po bukas, 12 hours a day. Sa isang mall po dito sa Eastern Region sa Alcobar, magbubukas po kami. Para po sa passporting. Passport renewal. Para po yung mga kababayan natin, meron pong alternatibo na pwede pong pumunta sa opisina doon anytime, 12 hours a day. Biyernes bukas, Sabado bukas, pwede po silang pumunta doon. Bakit po namin ginagawa ito? Nagtutulong po ang Embahada at ang Maynila para dagdagan po yung mga lugar na pwedeng magbukas at makapunta yung ating Embahada at Konsulada. Kasi kailangan po talaga, napakalawak na po kailangan pong puntahan. Siguro po, pagdating po ng Unyo, magkakaroon na rin po ng VFS Center dyan po sa Central Region, doon po sa Riyadh, doon po sa Jeddah. Gagawin po namin marami to parang 7-Eleven na kung saan po sa iba't ibang lugar sa Saudi Arabia ay meron na pong center na maaari pong tumanggap sa mga Pilipino ng passport renewal po muna. Ito po ay pilot test lang po. Sinusubukan po namin, tumatakbo na po ito sa Dubai. Sa Dubai po, nasa isang mall po ito, pinupuntahan po ng mga kababayan natin. Ito po ay gusto po programa po ito ni Secretary Locsin din para po nga mabigyan po ng mas malawak na pagkakataon yung mga kababayan natin na makapag-apply ng passport. Alam po namin, napakahirap po, kung masahe pa kayo, pupunta pa po yun ng Riyadh. Ito naman po sinusubukan lang po namin. Meron pong kasama po si Ambassador Alonto, naggagawa po sila ng Embassy on Wheels. Yun po ay umiikot din po at dadagdagan po natin yan. Pero kung matuloy po itong mga VFS centers na to, meron na po kayong kaagad pwedeng puntahan. 12 hours a day, bukas po ito, 7 days a week. Sana po maparami po namin. So yun po yung programa po namin pagdating po sa consular services. So sana pa suportahan niyo po at maglalabas po kami ng infomercial pag ito po ay mag-uumpisa na. Ang ganda, salamat. Maraming salamat po. Magandang bago po dito.
Maraming salamat po, Undersecretary Dulay. May mga ilang katanungan pong kayong ibinigay. Medyo iba't ibang Mr. Secretary. Okay. There are a few questions that we received that pertains to certain services that are offered by our government but are not specifically under the purview of the Department of Foreign Affairs. So please allow me to just consolidate them and ask instead, what can the DFA do to assist and air the concerns of our overseas Filipinos to the relevant agencies in the Philippines pertaining to other services like contracts, the holding of the annual Professional Regulatory Commission, special professional licensure examinations, and perhaps the medical insurance being offered by our government through PhilHealth. Is there a way for the Department of Foreign Affairs to air to the government, particularly these agencies, these concerns of our overseas Filipinos?
When it comes to problems, I really want that these problems are presented and then you give me a paper and I will work with my colleagues in the cabinet meetings or even outside. We don't stand ready for a pandemic. Italy doesn't know what to do. One tourist arrives, they infect so many, and now they're stuck. They're really stunned. They're shocked. One country after another. Japan has helped. Korea got hit because I think this one woman went to a church infected 44, and now I don't know what the number is. It's huge. So it's everyone's concerned. Avoid. You can tell naman yung fake news on the internet. There are some you take CNN, use CNN, Bloomberg, New York Times. They'll tell you what you can do. Not much, but better than nothing. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Center for Disease Control is working with China to find a cure, not cure, a vaccine against it. The cure is almost the same. Your resistance is lowered. They try to keep you alive. Your lungs stop functioning, so they give you oxygen treatment. They do what they can. Your kidneys start to die, so it's as if you have kidney failure. That's what happens when you go to the hospital. But try not to end up in a hospital as much as you can. And you know what? When it happens, don't blame yourself. This is a virus. This is an epidemic. Probably there isn't much you can do to protect yourself. But whatever is suggested by the experts out there, do it. Sayang na. Especially if you have very young children. What's definitely established is coronavirus will hit young children and there will be mortality. They will die. And the other one is everyone over 62 years old, if they get hit, they will most likely die. Nabuti na, teenager pa ako. Pero anyway, no, seriously, I am very well aware. And I shouldn't be traveling so much. But I have a duty to perform. And I will do it.
Thank you very much again, Mr. Secretary. We have again several questions pertaining to the same thing. I'd like to consolidate them for you. This pertains to assistance to our distressed overseas Filipino workers. Is there any way that the department can assist to facilitate the assistance being rendered to distressed overseas Filipinos, particularly here in the Kingdom where hundreds of our nationals are experiencing various problems? Is there a way or policy or any program of the department to facilitate the delivery of these kinds of services to our nationals?
That particular ATN, Assistance to Nationals, I have given directions that that fund, it's ₱1 billion, must be spent completely. It shouldn't be thrown. It shouldn't be wasted. If I catch you wasting it, my officials, kawawa kayo sa akin. You take care of the money very well, but it should be spent as fast and as efficiently as possible. No excuses. That's why the money is there. And for example, housing them. Housing those who have lost their jobs. And it's not their fault. We have put them in a hotel. I don't know if you know that. So that they be comfortable, because the exit visa is not within our control. So while they're waiting, that's the kind of facility. Pero mayroon sasabihin, well, pare, hotel pala. What do you mean hotel pala? Filipino yan. Why? You want to be in the hotel? You join them. But nobody likes to be stuck in a room, kahit hotel room. So, no, when it comes to ATM, I make sure, no excuses. If somebody's in trouble, get them out. Save them.
This will be the last question for this morning. This is from the Ranao Sports Commission. Is there any update for the creation of the Department of Overseas Filipino Workers? Maybe I should add also, consolidating the questions from the other Filipinos, what will be the role of the DFA, of the Department of Foreign Affairs, in the creation of this particular department?
I understand, because it's, none of my business. It's not good to step on somebody else's turf. Somebody tried to do that to me. They were really sorry kasi talagang pinatay ko yun sa cabinet. So I will not interfere with that, because that basically belongs to Dole. But it's there now in the Congress, in the House. Wala pa sa Senado. My friends are in the Senate mostly. And when it comes to the role of the DFA, I guess it is a separate department. So there will be a Department of OFW attaché attached to my department, because foreign governments do not deal with the other departments. They only deal with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But whatever request is required, then it goes to us from the labor or the DOFW attaché, and from there we send it down to Manila to make sure that the what solutions are proposed. Solutions are given to us as diplomats. We discuss it with the DOFW, and then if the foreign government says, I don't want to talk to them, we only talk to foreign affairs. So it will be foreign diplomat with Filipino diplomat. Then we will pick it up from there. That's the division of labor, because you don't want to step on your colleagues' territory.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Oh,
Sen.
but there was one thing I can tell you. Our role is still to be defined, but our performance will be how that department will be judged. Because with our limited resources, with all the work we still have to do, I think we're doing a great job, helping as much as we can. So in fact, the creation of a department of OFWs is going to be questioned by Congress by comparing it, well, how can you do better than DFA? That's at least it gives focus to the issues. Thank you.
Muli, maraming salamat po sa ating kalihim na ugnayang palabas. Sana po nasagot po namin ang kabuuan ng mga katanungan po ninyo. Kami po ay humihingi ng paumanhin kung may mga katanungan na hindi po natin ay parating. Limitado lang po ang oras ng ating kalihim. In fact, aalis na po sila ngayong hapon, pabalik po ng Pilipinas. Muli, sa ngalan po ng ating embahada, sa ngalan po ng ating ambasador, sa ngalan po ng ating kalihim, kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong lahat, sa inyong oras, sa inyong pagtangkilik po sa amin ngayong umaga. Nais po namin kayong anyayahan na samahan kami na salo-salo at kumain ng ating tanghalian. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po kayo lahat.
Yun si DFA Secretary Teddy Locsin. So ayan, andito ngayon yung Secretary ng Department of Affairs, si Teodoro Locsin Jr. Mas kilala siya Teddy Locsin Jr. Ano? Makikita po natin siya. Mamaya iikot daw po siya sa lahat ng lamesa at
parang kasal lang po ito.
makikita lang niya. Ngayon, umiikot si Secretary Teddy Locsin para magkaroon ng photo op sa lahat ng mga visitors dito sa meeting with the Filipino community dito sa Riyadh. Nakikita nyo, nag-iikot si Teddy Locsin. Yun, tapos na yung photo op namin kay Secretary Teddy Locsin. Sa TV ko lang siya nakikita dati, ngayon personal na.
Ready po guys. Dito po, pwede po dito. Ready, kasi na po. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
So, syempre, pagkatapos, uy, ang galing ah. Uy, oh. May kumakanta. May kumakanta. Galing. Yan. Lunch naman ngayon, lunch. Galing ah. Ito yung pa-dinner ng pa-lunch ng embassy.
The food here prepared by, because this out in Manila, there is something about Arabia that brings out the best in us. Again, thank you so much.
Secretary, Undersecretary doon. Yung isa yung Dulay. Ano yung Undersecretary?
Yusuf.
So we will see you later. Okay. See you later.
Wala yung mga kasama ko ngayon.
Hi! Hello!
Kuya Gilbert, tsaka si Ate Marisa. Siya yung kasama ko ngayon.
Yes!
Wala yung... Sabit na ako dito. everyone, this by the way, you're in Dexter Panganiban video blog. This concludes my video today. Umalis na si Teddy Locsin Jr. at paalis na rin kami. Kumain lang kami at napakasarap ng pagkain ng inihanda ng Marriott Diplomatic Quarters, no? At saka maganda organized. Maganda yung meet up ng DFA secretary dito. At thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe and like this particular video. Thank you.